NFC West football takes over Thursday Night Football, and it's a big early season throwdown. Arizona Cardinals at home coming off their first loss that has them at 2-1, welcoming the Seattle Seahawks for another battle of the birds, the Hawks flying in on a high.
Torrey Horton down the sideline, and it's a touchdown! 95 yards, the longest in Seattle history.
12s are amped right now, 2-1 and relatively healthy compared to their division rivals, and they just watched their boys put it all together. 37 points of offense week 3 makes back-to-back games with 31 plus.
Darnold back to the air, throwing end zone for Horton. Touchdown! Torrey Horton, a punt return score. And now through the air, and Seattle adds to its lead.
Sam Darnold built off his Week 2 showing. Can he build off his Week 3 one now? 14 for 18, 218 yards, 2 TDs, a 154 rate. Over 12 yards per attempt. That's not big boned, that's Cartman fat.
And still on his feet. Now moving, and he's got a man. Smith-Njigba at the 30.
That was against the Aints, and the Arizona defense ain't them. Did everything they could to beat San Francisco, holding them to 16 points, 2 for 10 on third down, 1 for 4 in the red zone, have held all 3 of their opponents under 23 points this year.
But that ball is batted in the air by P.J. Mustipher.
How about the secondary Darnold takes on? Held Mac Jones to a low 80s rate, picked him off, held him under 7 yards per attempt, have held the 3 quarterbacks faced to a low 80s rate for the season.
Got a man in Pearsall, but he throws it away. Picked off by the rabbit, Dadrian Taylor Demerson. 2
guys did give them trouble in the passing game week 3. 88 yards allowed to CMC, 117 to Ricky Pearsall. What might JSN be able to do then? Jackson Smith-Njigba has hit 96 yards each game at the office, scored as well last week too. Not with Angela, but he made it into the end zone.
Throws, and he's got a man. Touchdown! Jackson Smith-Njigba.
Cards would like to be able to pester Darnold more than they did Jones. 41 pass attempts, only 1 sack. Pressure rate was slightly above average though. Josh Sweat with a sack in back-to-back games.
Mac Jones grabbed and slung down by Josh Sweat, who gets the sack.
Reaching Darnold at home hasn't been easy. 0 sacks taken last week on 21 pass attempts, a paltry 14.3 pressure rate faced, and Darnold averaged 2.8 seconds from snap to throw, which isn't quick. Saw the comments, and Darnold has been a little faster than the past, but he's not a nickel and dime artist, so his line deserves credit, being they've only allowed 3 sacks over 3 games played.
How about this pass protection for Sam Darnold? Look at it, and then there's the penalty.
Hawks big boys up front haven't assisted their runners quite as well, or Kenneth Walker isn't seeing the holes. He did last week when he was near the goal line, visited the land of puffy clouds and green trees twice versus New Orleans.
And he has a nose for that end zone of being able to find a way of slithering, turning, torquing.
Only 2.4 a carry for the day though, just 38 yards. Zona isn't easy on runners either, held McCaffrey to 3.1 an attempt, have held runners to 3.8 for the season.
Tries to go straight up the gut, but right into big Calais Campbell.
So Cardinals defense hoping for a little more help this week. Their offense only able to scratch out 15 points week 3, 5 for 15 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone. Haven't eclipsed 21 points in 2 of 3.
Gonna take a shot, open man, busted coverage, and Marvin Harrison dropped the ball with nobody around him, but that's gotta be in his hands.
Kyler Murray, unable to throw for more than 165 yards in 2 of his 3 excursions, 159 versus San Francisco, low 80s rate. 4.5 yards per attempt is low enough that he should have just run every down instead.
And it is incomplete! Zay Jones could not hold on!
He has to try and improve while facing a defense that's held each opponent to under 18 points, only 13 allowed to New Orleans, so we have 2 top-shelf defenses in this game.
Rattler looking deep. He will take a shot deep, and he's got a man down there. Okada comes over and breaks it up.
Strength of their defense, their secondary. Kyler has to try and figure out a group that's held quarterbacks to a 77 rate for the year, held Spencer Rattler to a 79 rate by picking him off and keeping him to 205 yards, only 5.6 per attempt.
Trying to direct traffic, takes a shot, throws, picked off by Kendrick. Darion Kendrick with his second interception of the season.
Hawks DBs, 42 yards allowed to Rashid Shaheed, 51 to Jawan Johnson. Chris Olave, 57 yards on 10 catches, 14 targets. They held him to 5.7 a catch. Next up, Zay Jones, 3 targets last week, 25 yards. Marvin Harrison, 44 yards.
God, he wants to go downfield, and he's gonna connect with Harrison.
Not exactly WR1 production, though. Trey McBride remains their most consistent pass catcher, 43 yards and a TD versus San Francisco.
Fake it, Murray, throw it, McBride holds on for the touchdown!
Hawks pass rush, Byron Murphy a sack in back-to-back games.
And that's Byron Murphy with the sack.
He's going to start to think he's a pass rushing machine.
Murray can be hard to track down, only 1 sack taken last week on 35 pass attempts, back-to-back games with only 1 sack taken. He escapes a lot of them and takes off, 37 rush yards a week ago, 30-plus rush yards in each contest so far.
So he's trying to maneuver with his feet.
No more James Conner when he hands off, so Seattle's front squaring off with Trey Benson, 42 yards, 10 carries last week.
Best run of the day for Arizona belongs to Trey Benson.
And he will have a tough time as well, as Seattle is also strong against the run, have held runners to a paltry 3.2 a carry, held Alvin Kamara to 2.3.
It's a really good job by Morris coming off the edge right there and playing the run.
Hawks with 7 straight wins in this battle of the birds. Cardinals won the first meeting, though. First clash in 1976 was good, too.
Opening day, the team participated in another first, the inaugural for Seattle in the Kingdome. Jim Otis and Terry Metcalf each rushed for more than 100 yards, as the Big Red amassed over 450 yards total offense. But the explosion was needed, as the Seahawks put plenty of points on the board themselves. The outcome was in doubt up to the final play, but the Cardinals had victory number 1, 30-24.
Trust the moment, man. Be in the moment. Play after play after play. We some dogs. Let's go. We got to hunt all day. O-line, D-line, we control this front, man. Come on.
Break out the Guinness. What? You can call it a breakfast Guinness if it makes you feel better. Guaranteed breakfast Guinnesses are a thing in Dublin, Ireland, who get to see the 2-1 Pittsburgh Steelers, who looked a little more Steel Curtain-like in their most recent win, take on the 2-1 Minnesota Vikings, who looked very Purple People Eaters-ish in theirs.
Browning getting chased, no chance. Oh, what a sack. What speed and burst.
Skull doesn't care who's taking snaps. They ask very little of their offense. Aaron Rodgers is going to have to really step up his game in this one. He's scrapping with a defense that took the ball away 5 times alone last week. Cornerback Isaiah Rodgers forced 2, took 2 balls to the crib. Minnesota held Cincinnati to 10 points.
Oh my goodness! He runs it back for a second touchdown today!
This is one of the best plays you are going to see.
The secondary Rodgers will try and figure out dominated Michael Penix week 2, then followed it up by picking off Jake Browning twice, held him to 140 yards, just 5.2 yards per attempt.
Intercepted by Metellus.
Now they try and add A-Rod to their collection. 2 touchdowns against New England's secondary, now has the 4th most TD passes in NFL history.
Touchdown! Steelers! Aaron Rodgers by himself in 4th place on the all-time passing touchdowns list.
Just 139 yards a week ago, though, only 6 yards per attempt, threw a pick for the second game in a row. In turn, the Vikings' frenzied D, looking at an offense that only put up 21 points last week, despite their defense taking the ball away 5 times, under 22 points back-to-back weeks.
Rodgers intercepted by Spillane.
He really threw it right to him.
Steelers pass catchers slide in cold. DK Metcalf scored for the second week in a row.
Terrific grab
DK can put it on his highlight reel too. What a grab.
But only 32 yards. Calvin Austin and running back Jalen Warren led the team with just 34. Not going to be easy against those purple DBs. Allowed only one pass catcher more than 26 yards. 50 allowed to Jamar Chase. They'll take that anytime. They expect another strong showing from that front too. Pass rush produced a 4-bag shopping trip versus the Bengals. Andrew Van Ginkel with a pair.
Browning able to get away once, but not twice. Van Ginkel.
Rodgers only faced pressure 16% of the time. That's barely anything. Didn't take a single sack on 23 pass attempts either, but he was getting rid of the ball pretty fast all game. Steelers' run game also trying to find its legs. 64 rush yards on just 2.5 per run last week.
Going nowhere is Gainwell. Gain less.
Pittsburgh's latest win in the end was a return to form for their fans in a way, as this matchup features two defenses, like I said, coming off 5 takeaway performances. Steelers getting 2 in the end zone too, helped keep New England to 14 points, the first opponent they've held under 30 so far.
And the ball popped free, and this is a bang-bang play. And Pittsburgh has got it!
That ball's out.
Stacked next to a Minnesota offense that accounted for 4 touchdowns in their blowout win over Cincinnati. If J.J. McCarthy is still out, Pittsburgh's secondary taking on Carson Wentz, who threw for 2 TDs, 173 yards on a nice 8.7 per attempt, a rate close to 130. Get another chance to play and he plays like that again. Might we have ourselves a little QB controversy?
He's got a touchdown pass to Hawkinson.
Wentz understood, throw to Jetta a lot. Justin Jefferson led the team in targets, 75 yards on 5 catches.
Complete it. It's Jefferson. Breaking through. Look at Justin Jefferson.
Wentz connected with TJ Hawkinson for a touchdown, 49 yards.
Yeah, it's his first touchdown catch in the regular season after 15 games. Long drought for him is over.
Hawk, JJ, and Jalen Naylor accounted for 18 of Minnesota's 24 pass attempts. Naylor just 37 yards. Pittsburgh's secondary had the most trouble with the tight end last week, giving up 2 touchdowns to Hunter Henry. He went for 90 yards against them. They gave up 260-plus yards to Drake May, 2 touchdowns, a rate over 100.
It was far too easy. Hunter Henry goes right down the middle of the field, and there's just nobody there.
The battle up front, Pittsburgh's pass rush rolled May up 5 times, Nick Herbig with 1, Cam Hayward with 1, DT Derek Harmon debuted and nabbed 1, and TJ Watt got his first 2 of the year.
Under a rush, gets out of it, then hit hard from the side. He did not see Watt.
They go after Wentz next. He was planted 3 times on 20 pass attempts.
Wentz dropped for the 3rd time.
Steelers defense had some trouble with some of May's runs, gave up 45 rush yards to him on the ground, faced Travion Henderson the most often, held him to 2.5 an attempt. That's what Minnesota's running back Jordan Mason is up against. He hits week 4 hot after scoring twice and going for 116 yards on a fat 7.3 per carry. Long was only 24 yards too.
Mason racking up numbers in this second half and running into the secondary.
Steelers trying to tie things up. 10-9, Minnesota up on Pittsburgh all time. This, of course, a Super Bowl rematch. Hop into Mr. Peabody's Wayback Machine as we travel back to the 70s.
Again in Super Bowl IX, the Steelers were simply awesome, and the Steel Curtain gave up just 17 yards rushing and 123 yards total offense. Both Super Bowl records. And Terry Bradshaw summoned the Steeler offense to a blood-and-guts victory drive. With their 3rd straight total destruction of championship-caliber competition, and in their 43rd year of existence, the Steelers laid waste to the tired tag, same old Steelers. A new one now applies, the Super Steelers.
Atlanta Falcons return home, hoping somehow Week 3 was a nightmare they can wake up from. Their offense certainly better wake up this week if they want to keep up with Washington. The Commanders showing off the fact they may have the best backup in all of the game.
Mariota hesitates to the end zone. Touchdown, Commanders!
No JD, no problem. Maybe the Falcons take on Jaden Daniels this week, maybe they won't. And maybe it doesn't matter if it's him or his backup Marcus Mariota, who pulled his best Daniels impersonation off, propelling Washington's offense to 34 points. Special teams chipped in a return TD. That's the first time the Commanders' offense surpassed 21 points in a game this year.
Mariota throwing and open is Terry McLaurin. They wanted the deep shot.
If it is Mariota again, he struts in off a nice 115-plus rating game, a touchdown, no picks, 207 yards, and a nice 9.9 yards per attempt.
Mariota stepping up in the pocket, kind of almost fall back and then find that guy.
On paper, he gets a Falcons defense that gave up 23 points to Carolina. Their own QB provided the Panthers with 7 of the 30 they allowed total. And that's the thing. Atlanta's D played 11 on 12 last week, so to speak. They held Bryce Young to 121 yards on a meager 5 yards per attempt, a sub-80 rate, no TD passes allowed, held Carolina to 3 for 11 on third down.
Young gets rid of it, and it's incomplete, intended for McMillan.
Nice pressure right there.
Atlanta's DBs held every Carolina pass catcher to under 50 yards. Only one of them had more than 16 against them. Now they turn their sights on Deebo Samuel, just 11 yards versus Vegas. Zach Ertz picked up 38. Luke McCaffrey with the 43-yard TD as well as 56 yards.
McCaffrey will take it into the end zone. Washington puts up 40.
And Terry McLaurin comes in off his most productive game of the year, 56-yard reception as part of a 74-yard outing.
Open at midfield, coming back to the football. First down as Terry McLaurin hauls that in.
Falcons pass rush, which was all over J.J. McCarthy in their Week 2 win, only able to get to Young one time on 24 chances. Mariota only sacked once on 21 pass attempts, didn't face a lot of pressure. Like Daniels, he's got legs and knows how to use them, ran for a touchdown and 40 yards too.
And Marcus Mariota inside the 40. We're going to see more designed runs.
Atlanta's defense has a stable of runners to try and corral. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt scored, only 26 yards, 3.3 a run. Chris Rodriguez led them in attempts last week, 39 yards, 3.5 per carry. Jeremy McNichols broke off a 60-yard touchdown. Washington rumbles in off a 201-yard rush game.
Dan Quinn is saying, hey guys, play downhill. Let's go out there, finish. Let's go out there and hit people.
Atlanta's defense against Chuba Hubbard, 4.3 a run, 73 yards, held Carolina to 3.7 per though. Rise up, not overly concerned about their defense, but the alarms surrounding Michael Penix are starting to get louder. He's trying to snap a 2-game dud streak, 172 yards versus Carolina, under 5 yards per attempt, a 40 rating, no touchdowns, 2 picks.
Penix looks, passes intercepted.
That was just a disaster.
Penix's play hampering their offense, which didn't score a single point against a Carolina defense that had given up 26 and 27 points the first 2 weeks. Not a single trip to the red zone last week.
On third down, Penix backtracking, passing incomplete.
Maybe Penix finds some success against Washington's defense. It looked really good most of the game against the Raiders. Didn't quite lock it down after they built up that big lead. So walk in after giving up 289 yards on a hefty 10 yards per attempt to Geno Smith, 3 touchdowns, a rating allowed over 132.
Going deep, in for the touchdown.
Just confusion in the back end there.
Their secondary gave up 3 touchdowns and 145 yards to Trey Tucker, gave up 63 yards to Jacoby Myers. Cast of characters they line up across this week: Ray McLeod, 20 yards in their loss to Carolina. Kyle Pitts, 39 yards. Darnell Mooney went for 44.
Penix connects across the middle. Darnell Mooney.
Mooney, 11 targets to come up with those yards. Drake London got 8 looks, cashed out with 55 yards.
Penix throws and hits London.
That's a really good design.
We did see a little Captain Kirk last week. Penix can't afford too many more games like last week's, or we may see the return of Cousins. And it wasn't that Penix faced crazy pressure from Carolina's front. He didn't take a single sack on 36 pass attempts, and he only got hit twice. Their line now dukes it out with a Commanders pass rush that signed off 5 times versus Vegas. Bobby Wagner, 2. Dorrance Armstrong with his 3rd in 3 games, and some corner named Vaughn had his first full sack in the burgundy and gold. Miller looks funny wearing 24.
Smith will be sacked. Von Miller. That's what he does.
Atlanta's rush attack. Bijan Robinson, 72 rush yards, 13 attempts, 5.5 per carry, added 39 yards through the air.
Penix keeps it short with Robinson, who has the first down and more. Robinson across midfield.
And Nathan Carter comes off a 46-yard day, 6.6 a run. They've toked it well enough the last 2 games.
They go right back to the ground, right back to Carter, who finds a tunnel.
Commanders didn't have any trouble with Ashton Genty. I mean, no one really has so far. Still, held him to 3.7 a carry after holding Josh Jacobs to the same low average.
Ashton Genty will lose yardage here. 3 Commanders with help from Moore.
Washington beat Atlanta in OT last year to run their streak against them to 4 straight wins. They beat them the very first time they ever met, too. 33-20 back in 1966. Can't ever skip out on a chance to hear one of those awesome old-school voiceover guys. I tip my bag to them.
When Kammerer beats his man, the only place the quarterback can hide is in the stands. The backs rely on the initial blocks of the linemen, but once in the mainstream of mayhem, they make those precious yards on desire alone. Flaring out of the backfield, he was a 4th end and a linebacker's nemesis.
A little Skinnerd ball for you. Someone is getting in the win column. Winless Tennessee Titans on the road in Houston to take on a Texans squad that's just as desperate to snap their 3-game losing streak.
Crowds pass, they may have gotten a piece, and net is picked.
Texans offense yet to go for 20 points this year. Titans offense yet to hit 21, and they seem to have the bigger mountain to climb, being they face a Texans defense that has yet to allow 21 points, held Jacksonville to just 17 in their loss, 4 for 15 on 3rd down. Hard to ask too much more from that group.
Their running attack has not had much.
They get a Tennessee offense coming off its highest scoring output of 2025. 20 isn't usually going to get it done, though. Cam Ward still looking to have that breakout game. He did go for 200-plus yards versus Indianapolis, his first 200-plus yard game.
And Ward sidearms a fastball right at the goal line.
Still, 219 yards isn't catching anyone's attention. A sub-75 rate through a bad pick that got taken to the house. Having a breakout performance versus Houston's secondary is going to be tough. Held Trevor Lawrence to 5.6 yards per attempt, no touchdowns, 1 pick, a sub-60 rate.
Boy, just when the Texans defense needed to make a play, it's Petrie.
Ward faced a 40% pressure rate week 3. That's on the high side. Took 4 more sacks. At least they're trending in the right direction. Took 6 week 1, 5 week 2.
Ward's under pressure, and Ward is sacked.
That seems like something Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter could work with. Anderson has started the year off with a 3-game sack streak.
Lawrence never had a chance. Will Anderson wreaking havoc for the Texans.
Texans only sacked Lawrence twice on 40 pass attempts, allowed Brian Thomas to go for 55 yards, tight end Brenton Strange 61, Tennessee tight end Chiga Okonkwo was their lead week 3 pass catcher with 66 yards.
He's got Okonkwo as tight end, and that's a great weapon to loosen the reins a little bit.
None of Tennessee's wideouts made it to 40 yards, and none of their running backs made it to 50 on the ground. Tony Pollard scored only 45 yards, 2.8 per carry, and now he goes up against a Houston defense that held the previously hot Travis Etienne to 3.5 a pop.
Boy, that Houston front not fooled. Etienne down for a loss of 2.
So might be a challenge for the Titans to get their offensive engine revving, but can Houston's offense get anything going? 10 points last week versus a Jags defense not expected to end at the top of the D totem pole either. 3 straight weeks to start the year without dropping even a meager 20 spot. 4 for 15 on third down last week, only made it to the red zone once.
C.J. Stroud, wide open, Collins!
Titans secondary gets C.J. Stroud off a 204-yard, 5.4-yard per attempt, 1 touchdown, 2 pick, 66 rating game. Hasn't put up 210 passing yards in a game yet.
Stroud, they protect over the middle, completes.
So how about a Titans secondary that gave up 228 to Daniel Jones on 9.1 per attempt, gave up a 110-plus rate to him.
Jones right through the middle to Pittman and touchdown, Colts!
Tennessee's defense, another one that's had to work behind the 8 ball a lot. They held Indianapolis to 2 for 8 on third down, didn't play Indianapolis's wide receivers great, giving up 67 yards to Alec Pierce, 73 and a TD to Michael Pittman. Now they square up with Houston's Nico Collins, who rambles in off his first 100-yard game of the year. He did score.
And it's a Sunday stroll in the park.
No other Texans pass catcher with 40 yards. Stroud was sacked a couple times by Jacksonville, gave him 38 chances to get to him though, pressure rate faced not too high. Titans pass rush, 25 tries to get to Jones, didn't make it home once. And their front gave up 3 touchdowns to Jonathan Taylor, over 100 yards on 6 yards per carry.
Inside the 10, into the end zone! Touchdown, Jonathan Taylor!
Texans' run game actually very efficient in their Week 3 loss, only 19 carries for 87 yards, but hit at 4.6 per jaunt.
C.J. Stroud looking, everyone covered, he's going to run for it.
Only one team since 1990 has started 0-4 and made the playoffs, so you know that makes this kind of a win or go home game. These two have been going at it twice a year since 2002. Titans lead the series 24-22. How about the highest scoring game between them? Let's transport back to 2007.
Henry gets the carry, slamming forward into the end zone for his first career touchdown. Titans!
Tennessee led 32-7 after 3 periods, but a Houston fourth quarter comeback left the Titans down a point with less than a minute remaining. It was just enough time for Kerry Collins to set up Baronis for a history-making field goal.
Snap, set, kick on the way. Good! Baronis with an NFL record 8th made field goal.
NFC West football takes over Thursday Night Football, and it's a big early season throwdown. Arizona Cardinals at home coming off their first loss that has them at 2-1, welcoming the Seattle Seahawks for another Battle of the Birds, the Hawks flying in on a high.
Torrey Horton down the sideline, and it's a touchdown! 95 yards, the longest in Seattle history.
12s are amped right now, 2-1 and relatively healthy compared to their division rivals, and they just watched their boys put it all together. 37 points of offense week 3 makes back-to-back games with 31 plus.
Darnold back to the air, throwing end zone for Horton. Touchdown! Torrey Horton, a punt return score, and now through the air, and Seattle adds to its lead.
Sam Darnold built off his week 2 showing. Can he build off his week 3 one now? 14 for 18, 218 yards, 2 TDs, a 154 rate. Over 12 yards per attempt. That's not big boned, that's Cartman fat.
And still on his feet. Now moving, and he's got a man. Smith and Jigba at the 30.
That was against the Aints, and the Arizona defense ain't them. Did everything they could to beat San Francisco, holding them to 16 points, 2 for 10 on third down, 1 for 4 in the red zone, have held all 3 of their opponents under 23 points this year.
But that ball is batted in the air by P.J. Mustipher.
How about the secondary Darnold takes on? Held Mac Jones to a low 80s rate, picked him off, held him under 7 yards per attempt, have held the 3 quarterbacks faced to a low 80s rate for the season.
Got a man in Pearsall, but he throws it away. Picked off by the Rabbit, Dadrian Taylor Demerson.
2 guys did give them trouble in the passing game week 3. 88 yards allowed to CMC, 117 to Ricky Pearsall. What might JSN be able to do then? Jackson Smith and Jigba has hit 96 yards each game at the office, scored as well last week too. Not with Angela, but he made it into the end zone.
Throws, and he's got a man. Touchdown! Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Cards would like to be able to pester Darnold more than they did Jones. 41 pass attempts, only 1 sack. Pressure rate was slightly above average though. Josh Sweat with a sack in back-to-back games.
Mac Jones grabbed and slung down by Josh Sweat, who gets the sack.
Reaching Darnold at home hasn't been easy. 0 sacks taken last week on 21 pass attempts, a paltry 14.3 pressure rate faced, and Darnold averaged 2.8 seconds from snap to throw, which isn't quick. Saw the comments, and Darnold has been a little faster than the past, but he's not a nickel and dime artist, so his line deserves credit, being they've only allowed 3 sacks over 3 games played.
How about this pass protection for Sam Darnold? Look at it. And then there's the penalty.
Hawks big boys up front haven't assisted their runners quite as well, or Kenneth Walker isn't seeing the holes. He did last week when he was near the goal line, visited the land of puffy clouds and green trees twice versus New Orleans.
And he has a nose for that end zone of being able to find a way of slithering, turning, torquing.
Only 2.4 a carry for the day though, just 38 yards. Zona isn't easy on runners either, held McCaffrey to 3.1 an attempt, have held runners to 3.8 for the season.
Tries to go straight up the gut, but right into big Calais Campbell.
So Cardinals defense hoping for a little more help this week. Their offense only able to scratch out 15 points week 3, 5 for 15 on third down, 1 for 3 in the red zone, haven't eclipsed 21 points in 2 of 3.
Gonna take a shot, open man, busted coverage, and Marvin Harrison dropped the ball with nobody around him, but that's gotta be in his hands.
Kyler Murray, unable to throw for more than 165 yards in 2 of his 3 excursions, 159 versus San Francisco, low 80s rate. 4.5 yards per attempt is low enough that he should have just run every down instead.
And it is incomplete! Zay Jones could not hold on!
He has to try and improve while facing a defense that's held each opponent to under 18 points, only 13 allowed to New Orleans, so we have 2 top-shelf defenses in this game.
Rattler looking deep. He will take a shot deep, and he's got a man down there. Okada comes over and breaks it up.
Strength of their defense, their secondary. Kyler has to try and figure out a group that's held quarterbacks to a 77 rate for the year, held Spencer Rattler to a 79 rate by picking him off, and keeping him to 205 yards, only 5.6 per attempt.
Trying to direct traffic, takes a shot, throws, picked off by Kendrick. Darion Kendrick with his 2nd interception of the season.
Hawks DBs, 42 yards allowed to Rashid Shaheed, 51 to Jawan Johnson. Chris Olave, 57 yards on 10 catches, 14 targets. They held him to 5.7 a catch. Next up, Zay Jones, 3 targets last week, 25 yards. Marvin Harrison, 44 yards.
God, he wants to go downfield, and he's gonna connect with Harrison.
Not exactly WR1 production though. Trey McBride remains their most consistent pass catcher, 43 yards and a TD versus San Francisco.
Fake it, Murray, throw it, McBride holds on for the touchdown!
Hawks pass rush, Byron Murphy a sack in back-to-back games.
And that's Byron Murphy with the sack.
He's going to start to think he's a pass rushing machine.
Murray can be hard to track down, only 1 sack taken last week on 35 pass attempts, back-to-back games with only 1 sack taken. He escapes a lot of them and takes off. 37 rush yards a week ago, 30-plus rush yards in each contest so far.
So he's trying to maneuver with his feet.
No more James Conner when he hands off, so Seattle's front squaring off with Trey Benson, 42 yards, 10 carries last week.
Best run of the day for Arizona belongs to Trey Benson.
And he will have a tough time as well, as Seattle is also strong against the run, have held runners to a paltry 3.2 a carry, held Alvin Kamara to 2.3.
It's a really good job by Morris coming off the edge right there and playing the run.
Hawks with 7 straight wins in this battle of the birds. Cardinals won the first meeting, though. First clash in 1976 was good, too.
Opening day, the team participated in another first, the inaugural for Seattle in the Kingdom. Jim Otis and Terry Metcalf each rushed for more than 100 yards, as the Big Red amassed over 450 yards total offense. But the explosion was needed, as the Seahawks put plenty of points on the board themselves. The outcome was in doubt up to the final play, but the Cardinals had victory number 1, 30-24.
I know, Lamar versus Patrick, Micah versus Dallas, but you all know the truth. This is the game of the week. 3-0 versus 3-0, a 2024 rematch between the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who booted their way to their 3rd win.
This is for the win. McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle.
Taking on the Philadelphia Eagles, blocking a boot to take their 3rd.
Has it blocked again? This time Jordan Davis, the big man, looks for the icing on one big cake. Eagles hang on.
Eagles special teams came through big last week, but so did Jalen Hurts' arm, which they were waiting on. Hurts hits this week 4 tilt off a 3 TD outing, no interceptions, a rating over 115. First big game he's had through the air this year.
Has Goddard. Touchdown Philadelphia. Voila.
Hurts in the passing game behind their 33 week 3 points. They went 3 for 3 in the red zone, waiting for the Eagles' TD celebration after a tush push to be a recreation of the tush push, just to really rub it in. Seems like something Nick Sirianni would approve of.
If it was that easy, every team in the league would do it, so they've cracked the code. They are uniquely good at a given play. And
so have Hurts on one side, the Baker man on the other. Mayfield heads into this one off a 230-plus yard outing, nice 8 yards per attempt, 1 touchdown, no picks, rate over 100, 98-plus rate in all 3 games, has come up in crunch time and time again.
Mayfield's pass is caught. It's Ibuka.
Bucs offense, though, only 22 points last week. Defense took care of 7. They've yet to hit 24 this year, only 4 for 13 on 3rd down versus New York.
Mayfield hit.
Oh, is that a fumble?
Loose.
Fortunately, Baker Mayfield's strong enough to get the arm to keep going through for the incompletion.
Eagles defense he attacks next gave up 26 points to the Rams, most allowed over their 3 games. They did get stronger as the game went along, held LA to 3 for 10 on 3rd down and 1 for 4 in the red zone.
Being chased, Stafford got pulled down shy. Jordan Davis hot in pursuit.
The secondary Baker squares off with gave up 2 touchdowns to Matthew Stafford, also held him to 196 yards on under 6 yards per attempt, picked him off, held him to a low 80s rate. Dak, Mahomes, Stafford haven't allowed a plus 85 rate yet.
Stafford looking in zone. Davante Adams couldn't hang on. Blankenship the coverage.
Gave up a long TD to Davante Adams, 56 yards, allowed Puka Nacua to go for 112. They don't have to worry about Mike Evans in this one. He's on the shelf with a bad hammy, so they get Emeka Ibuka, who picked up 85 yards in their most recent win, has made big contributions in all 3 of their contests.
What an amazing catch, Emeka Ibuka.
Sterling Shepard is going to see more looks. He went for 80 yards versus the Jets.
The pass is caught for a first down. Sterling Shepard.
Mayfield would welcome the kind of time he got last week when he only got sacked once on his 29 pass attempts, only got hit twice. Philadelphia's front only sacked Stafford once for 0 yards. Bucs ground game stalled versus the Jets. Bucky Irving only 2.6 a carry, 66 yards. Mayfield Tasmanian deviled his way to 44 rush yards on 11 a carry.
Still going! And he's tripped up by the last line of defense.
Get a huge first down and puts him in field goal range.
Eagles didn't face a mobile dude last week. Would like to play the running back position better than week 3 when they let Kyron Williams get him for 94 yards on 4.7 a run, let Blake Corum go for 53 on 6.6 a carry.
Blake Corum turns nothing into a gain of a dozen.
And they'd like to see Saquon get it going. 46 week 3 yards, just 2.6 per run, hasn't run for more than 4 a carry yet. Can happen after you have your foot on the gas for as long as he did last year.
Start this drive with a toss to Saquon Barkley, and the Rams all over it. Lost a yard there.
He's dealing with a Tampa Bay defense that held Breece Hall to 2.3 per attempt last week, just 21 yards. Did give up 5 a carry to Braylon Allen, only 30 yards. Gave up 6 a scamper to Tyrod Taylor, 48 rush yards.
Taylor will pick up the first down with his legs.
That could be an issue facing Hurts, who uses his legs even when they don't push him around. 40 rush yards versus the Rams.
And room off the right side for Jalen Hurts.
Still susceptible to getting dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Rams got to him 4 times.
They blitz right over that right tackle spot and get there for the first sack of the day.
4, the same number of times Tampa Bay finished the job versus Taylor. Took the ball away once doing it too.
That is a nice strip sack, making sure to put emphasis on getting after the football.
That heat helped the Bucs hold Taylor to under 200 yards passing, only 5.5 yards per attempt. They did pick him off.
Jamel Dean, who takes it all the way back for a Bucs touchdown.
When they didn't stop him, usually the pass went to Garrett Wilson, 84 yards and a score allowed to him. Now it's Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown.
Hurts down the sideline. There's Brown. He's got it against Durant.
A.J. with his first 100-yard game, painted it green.
Brown in zone. He's got it for the touchdown.
Smith scored as well, 60 yards.
To the sideline. It's Smith. He's got it. Touchdown Philly. All the way back to take the lead.
And Dallas with a score on a 33-yard pass. Bucs have beaten the Eagles 6 of the last 7 times they've played, last year included. They've played each other a lot the last few seasons. 19-5. You're not going to see many scores like that. These two produced it, though, in 1999.
Against the Eagles, the Buccaneers played like the team everyone expected them to be.
Stands tall in the pocket, stands tall. Oh, he's sacked by Sapp. He's sacked by Sapp. Holy Toledo, big warrant. Gets the pass away, caught by Allstott in space. To the 10, Allstott to the 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
You see how tough it is to get wins on the road. Okay, you got to go, and they're always a fight. But we hung in there for 60 minutes. We got it done.
Some might call this one a future game for Buffalo. Others maybe an Admiral Akbar situation. The 0-3 New Orleans Saints are in town on the road for Week 4, trying to spring a trap on the 3-0 Bills.
Inside the 10, Shakir all the way in. Touchdown, Buffalo.
NOLA next in line to see if they can stop the Mafia train. Gonna need to pull some Tony Montana, Omar Little action to pull off overthrowing these Buffalo bosses. Saints defense next up to try and slow down an offense that's been good for 30-plus points each time out. Slapped 31 on the Dolphins in their most recent showing.
Little flick there and a nice touchdown pass.
Buffalo's Week 1 win was fueled by Josh Allen. Week 2, it was a James Cook production. Week 3, a crossover episode. Allen throwing 3 touchdowns with a 130-plus rate.
Allen throws to the sideline, open, reaching for it, making the grab and into the end zone.
That offense stacked against a Saints defense that gave up 37 points Week 3, 26-plus points allowed back-to-back games.
He is in. Touchdown, Seattle.
Allen trying to dodge a pass rush that didn't produce one sack of Sam Darnold. They gave up 2 TDs, a rate of 140 to him, on a fat Albert 12.1 yards per attempt. That's rare air. They've made all 3 QBs they've faced look pretty good in 2025.
Darnold back to the air, throwing end zone for Horton. Touchdown!
The rush defense James Cook faces at least has some swagger to it. Held Seattle runners in check, only 87 rush yards allowed, just 2.6 a run.
The ball came out, and the Saints recover.
Cook enters with some fuego, 100-plus yards along the ground, hefty 5.7 yards per carry. He scored. That's a C-note plus for Cook back-to-back games.
Made it look easy. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Allen, 4 attempts, 25 rush yards, so has rested legs for this one. Buffalo's line has played a big role in their offensive success, giving Cook plenty of holes and making it hard to bother Allen. He took 2 sacks versus Miami, but he was pressured less than 10% of the time. Between his hogs and his legs, Saints will be challenged to harass him into mistakes.
Allen's going to take off inside the 30. Slides to a stop.
Saints DBs gave up a touchdown and 96 yards to Jackson Smith and Jigba, held the rest of Seattle's pass catchers under 33 yards. Now they get Joshua Palmer, only 1 catch, 5 yards versus Miami. Keon Coleman, 3 catches, 20 yards. Elijah Moore, 30 yards. Khalil Shakir found the paint with 45.
It's a foot race and an easy touchdown there for the Bills.
And they have tight end Dalton Kincaid to deal with. He scored twice in 3 games, a TD last week with 66 yards.
Dalton Kincaid for the touchdown.
Saints fans aren't raving about their defensive showings, but they know it's hard to paddle upstream for too long, which they had to do last week due to their offense only putting up 13 points, under 22 points back-to-back games, 5 for 15 on 3rd down versus Seattle, 1 for 3 in the red zone.
Throws to the back of the end zone. He's got a man down there.
Bills defense staring at a quarterback who is now 0-9 in his career. Spencer Rattler not able to carry over his good Week 2 performance as he only managed 5.6 yards per attempt last week, 1 touchdown against a pick, sub-85 rate, which he's finished with 2 of 3 games.
Rattler with the 4th down pick, and it's Seahawks ball.
So far, the only offense to put up more than 21 points on Buffalo's D was Baltimore's. Held Miami to 21 in their Thursday Night Football win after a sub-21-point game versus the Jets.
Harold Bernard takes care of Gordon in the backfield.
Bill's secondary hits Week 4 after doing some flexing versus Tua, held him to a piddly 146 yards, picked him off, have held it down to a sub-85 rate back-to-back games.
Oh, and it's intercepted! It's picked off.
Buffalo's pass rush didn't even sack Tua once, only hit him once on 34 pass attempts. Rattler sacked twice, 39 pass attempts at least. More of those attempts going to Chris Olave than anyone else.
Olave trying to get the 1st down, and he does.
Only 57 yards on 10 catches, 14 targets though. Rashid Shaheed chipped in 42 to 52 in their last 2 games.
Shaheed has it at midfield, and it's good for a New Orleans 1st down.
Tight end Juwan Johnson is checked out with 49 to 76 yards each game, 51 last week.
That's Johnson. 1st down again for the Saints.
Alvin Kamara, always a threat as a pass catcher. Quiet though through the air and the ground versus the Hawks. 42 rush yards on just 2.3 a carry, but maybe Buffalo is the D he gets it cooking against. They gave up 5.2 a run to Devon Achane, 62 yards. 38 yards, 4.2 a carry to Ollie Gordon, let him score.
Gordon plunging forward. He's in.
Not too many Bills-Saints games to reminisce about. Saints lead the series 7-5. They really blew everyone's socks off the first time they got in the ring together back in 1973, too.
The young Saint defenders combined to hold Simpson short of 100 yards, a feat that would be matched only by the world champion Miami Dolphins for the season. In the 4th quarter, Jim Merlo, Jerry Moore, and Ernie Jackson combined to turn the juice back on 4th down, while assuring the first shutout in the 7-year Saint history. All of the scoring that was needed came on 2 field goals and another super reception by number 41, Bob Newland, which brought the winning total to 13-0. For the first time in Saint history, the season was even at the 8-game point.
New York Giants at home for Week 4, still looking for a win. Maybe look in the dude's toilet, it might be down there somewhere. Probably easier than finding it against LA, the 0-3 G-men facing the 3-0 Chargers.
Got it! 23-20. Chargers remain unbeaten.
Bolts fans haven't celebrated 4 wins to start a season since Nickelback topped the charts. It's how I'm reminding you of 2002. Follow that? Justin Herbert still following an MVP-like script. 2 huge fourth-quarter drives to win the game. Left last week up 300, and it wasn't even 5 p.m. Imagine if he had till midnight.
Herbert alive in the throw. Caught. Touchdown! Touchdown!
Herbert had to work against a top-shelf Denver defense. A sub-80 rate got picked off, but was clutch enough to come through late, did enough to put up 23 points. 23, 20, and 27-point showings over their 3 games. That's usually enough with that defense of theirs.
Touchdown with ease.
The defense he takes on next had a solid Week 3. New York held Kansas City to 22, not terrible at least, and they held Washington to 21 Week 1, so outside of the Dallas game, not so bad.
The coverage was terrific from Tyler Nubin.
They held Kansas City to 22, even though their own offense kept punting the ball away. The secondary Herbert faces held Patrick Mahomes to 6.1 yards per attempt and 85 rating. I know that doesn't mean what it used to, but still, they handled Jaden Daniels well too.
Right on the money, gets his head around, beautifully done.
How about LA's O-line versus New York's pass rush? Brian Burns at least 1 sack in each game played so far. G-men dropped Mahomes twice for a solid 23 yards.
The ball is free. The ball is picked up by Okereke and then Mahomes.
Burns seems lined up to extend his streak based on Week 3. Herbert was put in the grass 5 times by the Broncos.
Oh, they come on the side. Bonito.
Blues secondary did give up 40-plus yards to 3 different wideouts in their latest loss. 42 to Hollywood Brown, 55 to Juju Smith-Schuster, and 71 and a TD to Tyquan Thornton. Have 3 good receivers to try and cover in this one. Is Quentin Johnston LA's WR1? He's playing like it. 89 yards last time out, 71 plus 3 straight.
Johnston breaks free, and there he goes.
Keenan Allen, 65 yards and a TD in win number 3, 60 to 68 yards and a touchdown in each game. Welcome back.
Allen, what a play!
And McLovin, who remember is always kind of there and eventually steals the show. Ladd McConkey 41 yards versus Denver.
So McConkey picks up the first down right over the middle.
His stash, by the way, just makes it better. Plus, the tight end of the week versus the Broncos, it was Oronde Gadsden, who debuted to the tune of 5 catches, 46 yards.
He's cut him downfield, caught there, Gadsden again.
LA run game is now the Omarion show. Herbert used Hampton to the tune of 59 yards as a pass catcher. He added a touchdown and 70 rush yards, his best NFL game so far.
And the Chargers build on their lead.
New York didn't play Isaiah Pacheco great, gave up 4.5 a run to him, and have given up over 5 per carry over their 3 games.
Pacheco into Giants territory.
They also ended up holding Kansas City to under 4 yards per carry, did the job defensively. Need their offense to step it up. We have a Giants O that ended another game under 10 points. Twice that's happened so far. 1 for 10 on 3rd down versus the Chiefs.
Wilson dumping it out. Scalaboo first down.
So, New York figures throw a dart at the board and see what comes up. Jackson gets the nod this week, doesn't have to do much to improve their passing attack. Russell Wilson hits the bench after only cobbling 160 yards, got picked off twice.
For Neighbors in the end zone, it's intercepted.
New York's offense and passing attack has looked good only against Dallas, and LA's defense is on another continent compared to them. Held Denver to 20 points, no one's breached the 22-point wall against them.
James brings them down. Nice play by Derwin James.
Held the Broncos to 2 for 13 on 3rd down. The secondary New York's quarterback is up against. Held Bo Nix to 153 yards, 6.1 yards per attempt, a sub-90 rate.
Nix up. Out. Knocked away. Beautiful knock away. They were going for Sutton, but it was St. Juice.
LA's corners did give up over 100 yards and a touchdown to Cortland Sutton. New York's WR1, Malik Neighbors, his most recent showing, 13 yards. That's a problem. So is the fact the only Giants pass catcher to check out of their latest loss with more than 30 yards was running back Cam Skattebo. It's also not great that he led them in targets.
Cam Skattebo's got a first down and a gain of 21.
Skattebo, the only O guy for New York with any kind of swagger, ran for 60 yards on 6 a pop and scored 2 as he takes over the RB1 role.
Skattebo to the goal line!
Maybe he leads the way to a colossal upset. Chargers gave up 7.5 a run to J.K. Dobbins for 83 yards and a TD, giving up over 5 an attempt for the year.
Inside the 5, diving, touchdown!
Maybe the rally cry will be, remember Skattebo. Look, Cleveland, Green Bay, it happens, man. Carolina, Atlanta even. And those are just 2 week 3 examples. Field goals could be blocked, made, birds' heads could fall off for all I know. Nothing's certain. Chargers and Giants have met 13 times ever, LA with the 8-5 lead after winning the last 5 straight. Give me an underrated gem, which took place back in 1983.
Then came a down-to-the-wire win against the Giants, a victory that would prove costly. Dan Fouts, one of the team's most important players, sustained an injury that would profoundly affect the Chargers for the rest of the year.
What a matchup. One team just won 17-10, the other 16-15. So I guess get ready for some good old-fashioned defense wins championships football. Getting defensive, a new thing for the 2-1 Jacksonville Jaguars.
And another takeaway for the Jacksonville defense,
who are in San Francisco this week, where good D has been at the center of the 49ers' 3-0 start.
The rookie delivers the blow to force 4th down.
If you're offered a job to play for the 49ers, just factor in your health. Niners hit week 4 with yet another star player off to spend time with JD and Turk. They haven't plugged in scrubs per se, but they are relying on a lot of backups to try and get to 4-0. Their defense now moving on after losing Nick Bosa.
And you see Bosa limping a little bit. Not good if you're the 49ers defense.
Bosa's loss coming right on the heels of yet another dominant defensive showing. Jags offense staring down a group that hasn't given up 22 points in a game yet, held the Cardinals to just 15, 5 for 15 on 3rd down, 1 for 3 in the red zone.
Captain of the defense comes up with a big play on 3rd down for San Francisco.
49ers secondary rebounded from a blah week 2 to hold Kyler Murray to 159 yards through the air, a low 80s rate.
Lofts it up there, and it's incomplete for Connor. And a nice defensive play, and it's 3rd and long.
They have to hope they can put the clamps on Trevor Lawrence and the Jags offense. Only 17 points versus Houston, whose defense is top-notch, but just 4 for 15 on 3rd down.
And on 4th down and long, they're going to try another field goal.
Lawrence has had trouble getting it going so far, hoping for a week 4 breakout after ending last week with a 56 rating, no touchdowns, 1 pick, hasn't even hit 82 on the rate scale yet.
I didn't have a lot of high trust in the way the offense had been operating.
Now, the Jaguars' offense had put up 26-plus points in their first 2 weeks, and they only let Lawrence get dropped twice on 40 pass attempts versus Houston. That's a feat based on their pass rushers. Trev has only been taken down 3 times now for the year.
Lawrence never had a chance.
No Bosa to worry about, and a Niners pass rush that only got to Murray once on his 35 pass attempts. Their DBs, though, didn't struggle with many Arizona pass catchers. None cracked 50 yards. Marvin Harrison, 44. Trey McBride, 43 and a TD. So maybe a little Brenton Strange action. 59 to 61 yards, 2 of 3 games so far.
Brenton Strange has a big one here for 10.
49ers corners taking on Parker Washington, 11 targets last week, only 34 yards, and Brian Thomas, who enters off a 55-yard game.
Brian Thomas
Jr., he hung on to that one.
Thomas hasn't gone for over 56 yards yet, and 46 of his 55 last week came on one play, so still looking to find that 2024 form. So is Travis Hunter, who's looking to show Duval trading up for him was worth it. 21 yards last week has ended each game with fewer than the week before. On handoffs, Travis Etienne cashed out a TD versus Houston.
Etienne, and he's in for the Jacksonville touchdown.
Only 56 yards on 3.5 an attempt, his lowest output over 3 games. And he's got a tough task too this week, as San Francisco's front did at least hold Arizona's rush attack, which is formidable, to 3.8 per, holding runners to 3.7 overall.
Fred Warner, another run stuff.
Putting up digits on San Francisco, a challenge unless the Bosa factor swings things. And scoring on the Jags, not much easier either. Houston only mustered 10 points against them. They've held 2 teams to 10 now.
Stroud just doesn't feel comfortable throwing into the tight coverage that he's seeing.
103.4. That's not a radio station. That was Jacksonville's rating allowed to quarterbacks last year. Only one team was worse. I know it's only been 3 games, but how about a secondary that's held quarterbacks to a 65 rate? No team lower in all the land. Held C.J. Stroud to 204 yards, 1 TD. That was a mental breakdown more than anything. A sub-70 rate, 2 INTs.
C.J. Stroud's pass is picked.
Taking on an offense that only put up 16 week 3 points. 49ers 2 for 10 on 3rd down. They haven't scored 18 plus in 2 of their 3 goes.
And it's a turnover on downs.
If San Francisco has to play Mark Morrison again, then Jacksonville's secondary is up against an old friend. Mac Jones had his issues versus Arizona, but still did go for 280 plus yards. That's 270 plus in each of his starts.
Jones floats it! Touchdown! First of the day!
He's duct tape, throwing to duct tape half the time too. CMC isn't that. He's one of the few starters they still have to work with. Led the team with 15 targets versus Arizona, 10 catches, 88 receiving yards.
Here comes McCaffrey, and it's inside the red zone.
And how about Ricky Pearsall? 11 targets, 8 catches, 117 yards, 2 100-yard games on the young season.
It is Pearsall! Did he hold on? He did!
San Francisco's O-line only allowed Jones to be sacked once on 41 pass attempts. They'd take that again. Their tackles grappling with Josh Hines-Allen, a half a sack of Stroud, Trayvon Walker with 1, back-to-back games with 1.
Stingy Jacksonville defense picking up where they left off.
Final box. CMC the runner, who's clocked out with a 3.1 average on carries twice in 3 games, only 52 rush yards for McCaffrey in their most recent win. Possible he revs it up versus Jacksonville. They gave up 4.6 a run to Houston.
Nick Chubb with a hard run.
Only 87 rush yards allowed though. Wasn't that big a deal. Jags-Niners have only played 7 times. San Francisco has won the last 5. Jacksonville took the first 2, the first in 1999.
The Jaguars opened their 99 campaign at home against perennial powerhouse San Francisco, giving Steve Young the first taste of Jacksonville's new smorgasbord of blitzes. While the Jaguars' defense sunk the waterlogged 49ers, Mark Brunell and the offense propelled them to their largest margin of victory in team history.
Second and goal. Brunell turns, fires, and is caught. Touchdown! What a great set of hands by David Jones. Garcia back to throw with time. Jumps up his feet, dumps it, and it is picked off. There goes Beasley. He's at 20 on the run 30. He's at the 40. Beasley get him on the 50. He's at 40 down the sideline 30. He's all the way. Touchdown!
It was their 4th straight season-opening victory and sent a message to the rest of the league by ending a dynasty's 2 decades of domination.
LA Rams are back home week 4, having to try and rebound from the most painful of losses.
Blocked again! The big man looks for the icing on one big cake!
Now they take on the perfect Indianapolis Colts, who are hoping their 4th installment of Indiana Jones goes better than Harrison Ford's did.
Indiana Jones and the quest for a winning season. The Colts are looking like they might have a lot more than a winning season right now.
Just saying, shoe fans would love some more Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, Daniel Jones. Avoid the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull-like outings. Man, has the rebirth of DJ been fun so far. 18 of 25 last week, 228 yards, 9.1 yards per attempt. He's gone for 9+ all 3 games, a 113 rate, a 107+ rate all 3 games, a TD in each, no interceptions.
Jones right through the middle to Pittman, and Pittman toward the goal line, dives in.
Now he gets a secondary that just allowed Jalen Hurts to have his first big game as a passer. The Rams giving up 3 TDs, didn't pick him, rate allowed over 115.
Darius Williams asking for a flag. He won't get it. And A.J. Brown has his first touchdown of the year.
LA's defense in turn wobbles in, gave up 27 points to Philadelphia, letting them storm back for the win. 6 of the 33 points Philadelphia scored came on that last blocked field goal, of course. Couldn't stop the Eagles on any of their 3 red zone trips.
Touchdown Philly! All the way back to take the lead.
For the record, LA's defense held Houston and Tennessee under 20 points, but their offenses are nothing like Indianapolis's. Weird to say that, but it's true. Defense chipped in 7 points last week, but that leaves 34 that were the offense is doing. So LA looking at an O that's been good for 29+ points each time out.
A high snap, they get it to Taylor. Taylor goes to the goal line. He's into the end zone.
Jones' passing buddies, LA's secondary will be chasing around. Josh Downs, just 34 yards in their win. Tyler Warren went for 38. The rookie had gone for 70+ the first 2 games. Alec Pierce, 67 yards versus Tennessee, had 68 the week prior.
Second time we've seen Pierce run an intermediate crossing route like that and be wide open.
And Michael Pittman, lead receiver week 1 and 3. Last week, 73 yards and his second TD of the year.
They dump it off to Pittman, who makes a man miss. That is a big-time catch and run.
Rams DBs gave up over 100 yards to A.J. Brown, gave up a touchdown and 60 yards to Devontae Smith. But what has made Indy's O so in sync is having JT. Jonathan Taylor grooving his way into this game. TD hat trick versus the Titans, over 100 yards on 6 per jaunt, 71 yards his low over 3 games, a C-note plus back-to-back weeks.
Taylor explodes, makes a man miss, spin move, a beauty, inside the 30, into the end zone!
He gets a Rams defense that did just hold Saquon Barkley to 2.6 a carry.
It's a handoff to Barkley, who's thrown down in the backfield by Byron Young.
They gave up 40 yards to Hurts on the ground, though. Couldn't stop the push, so he did score on them. Jones ran for 27 yards on 6.8 per when he skipped off last week. He can get you with those legs, but isn't using them because he has a bad O-line. How about 0 sacks taken a week ago on 25 pass attempts, only hit twice? How about no more than 1 sack in a game so far in 2025?
Jones drops back to pass, steps up in the pocket, going long, middle of the field for Pierce.
Indy's big uglies versus LA's front is Gene Belcher beef squatch material. Jared Verse, Byron Young had 2 of the Rams' 4 sacks of Hurts. They have a 4-sack average for the year.
Hurts gets pounded, the ball is out. Nate Lemon recovers.
Matthew Stafford didn't struggle to stay upright versus Philadelphia, only took 1 sack and didn't lose a yard. Colts defense kind of getting a Jekyll and Hyde, Elliott, Mr. Robot kind of offense. He threw for a couple TDs. Offense was good for 26 points. They've gone for 26+ back-to-back games.
Play action, 1 play. They find the end zone.
Their O, though, was 3 for 10 on 3rd down, 1 for 4 in the red zone. Stafford comes in off his worst 2025 showing, didn't crack 200 yards or 6 yards per attempt, a low 80s rate, got picked off.
Stafford throws an interception, read it well and picked it off.
Draws an NDD that held Tennessee to 20, gave up 28 to Denver week 2, held Miami to 8 week 1. The secondary Stafford faces bounced back from a blah showing versus Bo Nix, holding Cam Ward to 5.8 yards per attempt, only 1 touchdown, a sub-75 rate picked him off.
Throws it out of the backfield, it's intercepted! Kenny Moore is going to go to the house!
Their pass rush rolls in off its best shopping spree of the season, left last week with 4 bags, Tyquan Lewis going home with 2.
When they push the pocket like that, there really isn't any windows for him to escape.
Colts secondary gave up 66 yards to tight end Chig Okonkwo, held all of Tennessee's wideouts under 40 yards. Will be tough to do against Devontae Adams. He scored on Philadelphia 56 yards, has TDs back-to-back games.
Looking long, wants Devontae Adams, end zone, he's got it!
And there's Puka. Nakua led the way in their loss with 112 yards, hasn't left a 2025 shift with less than 91.
Over the middle, it's Nakua, strong hands to hang on to that ball with Braun all over him.
Rams rush attack, Colts try and slow, has grown a second head. They have Kyron Williams, 94 yards versus Philadelphia, 4.7 per run, his best showing so far.
Kyron Williams on a stretch play, looking for the edge, finding a seam.
And Blake Corum, who went for 53 yards on 6.6 a carry. That's back-to-back games he's looked good with his limited attempts.
2nd and 10 to the ground here, and Blake Corum has a ton of room off the left side.
Indy's rush defense just held Tony Pollard to 45 yards, 2.8 a run. They've handled the run well in 2 of their 3 wins.
The inside handoff to Pollard, and Pollard is nailed and knocked down.
Most underrated game of week 4. What do you think? Colts plus Rams equals Eric Dickerson, right? Started with the horn, then gets traded to the shoe. So let's hit 1989 to see Dickerson face the Rams for the first time.
When he came back here, Eric got booed and he got jeered and fans were throwing Monopoly money.
How about you personally? If you had to play against him, how would you tackle him?
I'd throw money all over the field.
We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home. Yeah, we gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home.
Dickerson cuts it upfield, touchdown, Eric Dickerson!
Eric did pretty well. He got the money. Unfortunately, he didn't get the better team in the trade. The Rams won, and I think that kind of ended it. The fans had their say. Eric obviously had his.
They asked me how I feel about my contract. I said I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the team. See, one thing about me is I'm not a bull.
We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home. We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home. We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home. We gon' make it home. We gon' make it home. We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home. Let's go. We gon' make it, we gon' make it, we gon' make it home.
Holy Schmidt, Detroit. Do not make the same mistake your buddies made and overlook the Cleveland Browns.
The kick is blocked, and Andre Schmidt from 55 to give the Browns a 13-10 win.
Dog pound, hitting the road, headed off to the Motor City, where they will encounter a Lions team with an engine now firing on all cylinders.
3 for 3 going for it on 4th down. You think these guys have any fun playing for Dan Campbell?
The warning here is the team the Browns took on were also cooking with gas until they ran into that Browns defense. So let's get it on again then. Detroit's offense slapped down 38 points last Monday, which came on the heels of them cooking up a 50-burger, so they're plenty warm as they hit week 4.
They go 98.5 yards, took over 9 minutes.
That's pretty impressive.
That offense squabbling with a defense that's given up the fewest yards in the NFL through 3 games, held the Packers, who were good for 27 points back-to-back weeks, to 10 points, despite their own offense giving Green Bay chance after chance all game long.
Love with pressure, and down he goes. The Browns get to him.
Cleveland held Jordan Love to 183 yards, only 1 touchdown. They picked him off.
Love throws, intercepted! The first Green Bay turnover of the season.
Now they try and put the clamps on Jared Goff and company. Didn't light up the yards category in their win over Baltimore, but another clean game, 100-plus rate for the 2nd week in a row.
Throws back to Goff, who airs it out for St. Brown. What a play.
He has clean games when he leaves with a clean jersey usually, which he did last week after not taking a single sack on 28 pass attempts. Myles Garrett, the biggest threat to soil his duds this week. He's reached a quarterback each game so far, the Browns reaching Love 5 times on just 25 pass attempts.
Love under heat. Pressure comes and he's blasted by Schlesinger.
Cleveland's secondary held every Packers pass catcher to less than 55 yards, a little over 50 given up to Matthew Golden. Receivers they draw in this matchup, Jamison Williams, 43 yards last week on his 2 snags.
Goff protected, fires, and another catch. Just 1 for 19.
And Amon-Ra St. Brown, the guy who enters off the best game when it comes to receiving, 77 yards and a TD.
For St. Brown, he is there, and he's got it. Touchdown, Detroit. What a throw and catch.
Jahmyr Gibbs caught 5 passes versus Baltimore, 32 receiving yards, ran for 67, punched in 2 balls.
They pitch to Gibbs. Touchdown! Boy, was that a thing of beauty.
His partner, though, roars in off a 151-yard game. David Montgomery broke off a 72-yarder, scored twice.
Just a stunning couple of plays back-to-back.
They take on the toughest team to run on so far, Browns holding runners to 2.3 yards per carry after holding Josh Jacobs to 1.9.
Watch this in run support. He's going to come up, he's going to battle through Dontavian Wicks and come up and make that play.
Browns got that first win on the back of that D, and their special teams would go a long way if their offense would chip in, or at least not act as dead weight. 13 points, 4 for 13 on third down, haven't scored 18 in a game yet, not usually a winning formula.
Play action pressure coming, Flacco in trouble, and he got rid of it. Kevin Stefanski says, where's the offense?
Joe Flacco, trying to snap a 3-game INT streak, only mustered 142 yards versus Green Bay, under 4 yards per attempt. Why even throw at that point?
Not a great throw by Joe, and boy, he pays the price.
Flacco does face a Detroit secondary that gave up 3 touchdowns and 288 yards to Lamar Jackson, a 148 rate on a fat 10 yards per attempt, no picks. The Lions surrendered 30 points.
Jackson backpedaling, Andrews wide open, one-on-one, and he'll take it in.
Going from Lamar to Flacco, of course, akin to going from an iPhone to a flip phone. And if Detroit's pass rush could track down Lamar 7 times, well, just remember, Aiden, Joe is old. Try and be gentle.
Lamar Jackson, there he is, Hutchinson, sack number 6.
Flacco will obviously ditch the ball a lot quicker than Jackson. He's taken 2 sacks in each game.
There's another little chip right there. You got to get out quicker. Lions
DBs did give up 2 touchdowns to Mark Andrews and 91 yards. A tight end happens to be the only Browns pass catcher to wrangle 40 yards last week. David Njoku with 40 on the nose, 5 catches.
Here's the Njoku, first down for the Browns to the 40-yard line.
So why not load up on some Quinshawn? Judkins looked great in his first NFL start, going for 94 yards, 5.2 a run. He scored.
Gives it to the rookie, Judkins, into the end zone. It's a Cleveland touchdown.
Gets a Lions defense that just held Derrick Henry to 50 yards and took the ball away from him too.
Hand off to Henry, and he gets it punched out. Knocked out on the play by Aiden Hutchinson.
I get it, we're going to see 10 Lions logos at the end, just like we saw 10 G logos at the end of last week's preview. Buyer beware. Cleveland, Detroit started up in 1952. Both teams were elite in the 50s too. Met in the title game 4 times. Detroit has won 19 of their 25 meetings. 2009, though, has to top the charts of their modern battles.
Against the Browns in Week 11, Jim Schwartz looked to his offense to dig them out of an early 21-point hole. Stafford and the offense clawed back, scoring 21 unanswered points.
Stafford sets, throws, got a man inside the 5. Touchdown, Detroit Lions, Kevin Smith.
But late in the fourth quarter, the Browns recaptured the lead.
Stafford looking for somewhere to go. Oh! What you got, man? I can throw the ball if you need me to throw the ball. Takes the snap, rolls, throws, end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions! This is out! This is out!
Part 2 of the Week 4 Monday Night Football doubleheader. Two clubs looking for a Big Sean bounce back. Cincinnati Bengals on the road having to really hit it after a debacle versus the Vikings. In Denver taking on the Broncos, who came up just short in their Battle of the Ducks.
23-20. Zeros on the clock. It's over.
Denver now has to work their way back to 500. The path back seems lined up to run through their defense, taking on Jake Browning, whose first fill-in work of 2025 did not go well. 140 yards, a touchdown against 2 interceptions, a low 60s rate, 1 house call.
Picked off. And he's racing down the sideline, going the distance.
Bengals offense wanders into Week 4 off a 10-point game. They have ended with less than 18, 2 of 3 games.
You got to play more sound football than that, and the Cincinnati Bengals have been about as unsound as you possibly can be.
Can Browning go Stella and find his groove against Denver's defense? On one hand, they did just give up 300 yards to Justin Herbert, let him drive down the field on them twice in the fourth quarter late, which led to the late loss and to 23 points, 23-plus points allowed back-to-back games.
Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown!
At the same time, Browning isn't looking at a rattled secondary. Herbert threw 47 times, and they held him to 1 touchdown, under 6.5 yards per attempt, into a sub-80 rate.
It's the first pick of the season by the Denver defense.
And how about the trench battle? Bronx pass rush wrapped Herbert up 5 times, Jonathan Cooper with 1, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers. Nick Bonito storms in off a 2-sack game.
Bonito! Like a torpedo!
Browning took 3 sacks. Bengals QBs took 4 total in the game last week.
Browning getting chased. No chance. Oh, what a sack.
Now, when you give up 300 yards, you're letting pass catchers eat. Broncos gave up 59 yards to running back Omarion Hampton, 46 allowed to Aronde Gadsden, 41 to McLovin, 89 yards to Quentin Johnston, 65 and a TD to Keenan Allen.
Allen, what a play!
They don't face any Cincinnati pass catchers with mojo after last week. Noah Fant, 5 targets, 26 yards. T. Higgins, only 2 targets, 15 yards. Mike Gesicki, 6 yards. Jamar Chase had 50 yards, has led them in receiving yards back-to-back weeks.
Good catch, snatched out of the air by Chase. Wow.
And then there's the Bengals' run game. May have bottomed out last week with Samaje Perine leading them with just 21 yards. Chase Brown, 10 attempts, 0.3 yards per carry. Bengals haven't run for 55 yards in a game yet.
And they do it again. Run on first down to no effect at all with Brown.
Broncos are tough here too. Held Omarion Hampton to 3.7 yards per carry. Did give up 70 yards and a touchdown to him, but they've held 2 of the 3 primary backs they've faced under 4 per run this year.
Devoured inside by Jones.
Denver's own run game wasn't at fault in their loss to LA. Bo Nix with another subpar outing. Hasn't looked great 2 of the 3 games. Offense only managed 20 points, haven't scored 21 in 2 of 3. They went 2 for 13 on 3rd down last week.
It's 4th and 10, and the punting unit for the Broncos takes the field.
Maybe a defense that gave up 34 of the 48 Minnesota posted last week is the cure. Bengals defense giving up 27-plus back-to-back games let Minnesota go 4 for 5 in the red zone.
Cincinnati now has its biggest deficit at any point in Bengals history.
Bengals secondary made Carson Wentz seem relevant again. Not a ton of yards allowed, but gave up a rate near 130, 2 touchdowns, over 8.5 yards per attempt, no picks.
Carson Wentz drives him right down the field for an opening touchdown.
Now their DBs try and slow Nix after a dud in LA. 153 yards, a sub-90 rate, hasn't thrown for more than 7 yards per attempt in a game yet.
And the Chargers hold Denver out of the end zone.
Cincinnati's secondary gave up a TD and 49 yards to tight end TJ Hawkinson in their most recent loss, gave up 75 yards to Justin Jefferson. Denver's WR1 did show out versus the Chargers. Cortland Sutton caught 6 passes, 118 yards, and a score.
Look at him, they got Sutton! That's 6! Touchdown, Denver!
But Troy Franklin, 4 targets, 8 yards. Marvin Mims, 4 targets, 4 yards. Their running back, J.K. Dobbins, the other O guy who's working off a good day at work, 83 yards on 7.5 a run and a touchdown, 5.4 plus yards per carry back-to-back games, 76 plus rush yards back-to-back games.
Look at the hole by the corkscrewing Dobbins up the middle.
Nix added 33 rush yards as well, ran 8 times in a game that he took 2 sacks in.
And here comes Nix. Look out! Down he goes, hit on the plate.
Only 3 sacks taken over 3 games, so not usually a problem. Trey Hendrickson comes calling next. He wasn't in on any of the Bengals' Week 3 sacks, and they had 3, the most they've had in a game so far.
Wentz dropped for the 3rd time.
Gave up over 110 yards on 7.3 a try to Jordan Mason a week ago, 2 TDs allowed.
Mason in for a 2nd touchdown.
Cincinnati has beat Denver 3 of the last 4 times they've squared off. Last year, in OT, the most recent, first time they ever met, 1968. Do you know who took round 1?
The first to fall prey were the skitterish Denver Broncos. In their first home game of the season, the Bengals attacked the Broncos like so much fresh meat on the hook. The defense, a blend of rookies and veterans, showed they had learned the first rule of survival: go for the kill. On offense, the Bengals displayed a mixture of naive exuberance and sophisticated determination. Their strong runners clawed for every yard and were capable of exploiting a key block and turning it into a score. And they could pounce through the air. The Bengals had tasted blood, and they liked it. Their first trophy was won 24-10, and the game ball was sent to the Hall of Fame.
Las Vegas Raiders back at home on the Strip, hoping their latest pull on the win machine comes up W's and gets them back to 500, which the visiting Chicago Bears are trying to reach as well after breaking into the win column last week.
Back, zips one, and it's picked off, and that will officially seal the deal.
Took a little longer than expected, but Matt Eberflus did make Caleb Williams look great again. Bear down, will take it, better late than never. Caleb hit Sin City off his best game as a pro, 298 yards, 4 TDs, no picks, a plus 140 rate, over 10 yards per attempt, lots of chunky throws, first 100 rate game of the year.
Williams looking, pressured, throws, caught, touchdown!
So the Raiders are looking at an offense that just cracked 30 for the first time in 2025, 24 plus points, 2 of their 3 contests.
Then Caleb Williams just kept going. Receivers were running open all day, different guys.
That means we have a 30-point offense trying to keep it going versus a Raiders defense that gave up 34 of the 41 points they allowed Week 3 to Washington. First time they've given up more than 21.
Throwing it because he wants to close the game out, but instead will take it into the end zone.
Raiders secondary that Williams is facing gave up a TD to Marcus Mariota. Not many yards, but a rate allowed near 120, which pushed their season figure over 100.
Mariota to throw it open. Zach Ertz at midfield.
Caleb's success last week tied in large part to the protection he got. He had some dropbacks where he was able to just camp out. Not a single sack taken on 28 pass attempts.
Wow, terrific pocket. Standing in there behind Tooney and Dahlman and Jackson.
He'll have Mad Max chasing him around this week. Finished the job once versus Washington, has a bag in 2 of their 3.
He's going to go down in here, and Max is just going to explode. He sees the whole thing, blows it up.
Crosby, the only Raider to make it home on 21 pass attempts, though. Secondary gave up a couple big splash plays, a 56-yarder to Terry McLaurin, who went for 74 yards against him, a 43-yard TD given up to Luke McCaffrey. 8 guys caught Williams passes versus Dallas. Colston Loveland, a 31-yarder, Olamide Zaccheaus, 24 yards, DJ Moore scored only 21 yards, Cole Kmet scored only 10 yards, rookie Luther Burden made his first big impact with over 100 yards and a TD, thanks to a little flea flicker action.
To Swift trying to get a flea flicker, throws a seed, has a man, it is caught for a touchdown!
Rome Odunze, 62 yards and a score. He has started the year with a TD in all 3 games.
Williams has a man wide open, he's got a touchdown, Odunze!
And running back DeAndre Swift struggled again as a runner, under 2.3 per carry in 2 of 3 games, but gave him 45 yards out of the backfield.
They get the lineman out in front, get Swift in space, and let him do the rest.
Maybe he can find some room versus a Vegas defense that gave up over 200 yards on the ground to Washington on over 6 yards per attempt, 3 rushing TDs allowed.
Still on his feet, Jeremy McNichols. I don't think they're going to get him.
Raiders D hoping its offense can help out by not waiting till the fourth quarter to fire things up. It's not that they hit week 4 struggling to score. 24 in their week 3 loss is okay at least, and the most they've scored this year.
Dumps it off to the end zone. Touchdown, Las Vegas Raiders.
If you turned that game on late, you'd have thought Geno Smith was killing it. 289 yards, 3 touchdowns, a rate over 130. He's gone for a 100-plus rate in 2 of 3, 289-plus in 2 of 3.
Smith rolling, throwing, and open is Jacoby Myers. Inside the 30, down the sideline he goes.
You might have also thought you were watching the most dominant receiver in the game. Trey Tucker hits this week off a 3-touchdown outing, 145 yards.
Going deep, that's Trey Tucker in for the touchdown.
The Bears defense they try to carry the momentum over against held Dallas to 14 points, 3 for 11 on third down, their best offering on D so far.
Exactly what you need when the ball's tipped up in the air. You got everyone hustling to the ball.
Bears secondary didn't have to worry about CeeDee Lamb for too much of the game, but remember, they didn't have their top corner either. Still held Dak to a low 70s rate, picked him off twice, came out with 3 interceptions total. Also that group's strongest outing.
Can't find anyone floating. Intercepted again by Tremaine Edmonds.
Did give up 292 yards, so 64 yards allowed to Kevontae Turpin, 68 and a touchdown to George Pickens, 82 yards to Jake Ferguson, but on 13 receptions, they held him to 6.3 per catch. They get to see what Brock Bowers is about next, only 38 yards last week. He's still trying to get back to 100% health. Dante Thornton gave him 29 yards versus Washington. Jacoby Myers, the second fiddle to Tucker with 63 yards. He's been good for that or more in each game.
Throw high, but hauled in by Jacoby Myers.
Chicago pass rush hasn't been great at getting home, but Montez Sweat did get to Dak once, Bears with 2 sacks.
And he's in trouble, and he goes down for the sack. Montez Sweat gets home.
Maybe they can meet up a little more with Geno, being he was planted 5 times by the Commanders.
Pressure coming, and he sacks Bobby Wagner again.
And are we going to see Ashton Genty break out anytime soon? Still hasn't eclipsed 4 per run in any game, 63 yards, 3.7 per last week, but he would seem to have a shot at a little something versus a Chicago defense that has given up 5.5 a carry over 3 games, gave up over 6 per attempt to Dallas, had trouble with Javonte Williams.
Williams looking for some blocks, gets some first down and more.
Since 1990, 2-2 teams have made the playoffs 37% of the time, 1-3, 13%, so there's a lot on the line. Chapter 1 between the two, 1972, not a bad start to the book.
Game 14, and Marv Hubbard, who finished with a record 1,100 yards rushing, was presented the annual Gorman Award. Then Clarence Davis and the offensive line buried the Bears before a 38th consecutive sellout crowd, and Oakland entered the playoffs with a 10-3-1 record.
New England Patriots are at home again, trying to get back to 500, which is what their visitors, the Carolina Panthers, are trying to do as well after they won for the first time last week.
The Carolina Panthers dispatched the Atlanta Falcons here in Week 3.
Getting to 2-2 and avoiding a 1-3 start for teams like this is a big deal. Each defense hits the fourth week off a fine showing. Each offense has some things to try and clean up. Patriots, for example, need to ban the Red Hot Chili Peppers from practice, only scored 14 points in their Week 3 loss to Pittsburgh, giving it away 5 times, twice as they were about to score, too.
2 times, 0 points.
This is insane.
Yeah.
Drake May responsible for 2 of those giveaways, 1 lost fumble, 1 INT, but Carolina's DBs aren't facing a cold quarterback. He threw for 2 TDs as well, over 265 yards, a plus 100 rate, plenty to like about how he looked.
And Drake just lays a dime to him right in the middle of that defense.
So May faces the Panthers secondary off back-to-back 100-plus rate games, has thrown for 230-plus all 3 games. Carolina's DBs just got done dominating Michael Penix. Picked him off twice, only 172 yards, held him under 5 yards per attempt and to a 40 rating.
It's the second interception thrown by Michael Penix this afternoon.
Gave up 55 yards to Drake London, 44 yards to Darnell Mooney, but on 11 targets, 39 yards to tight end Kyle Pitts. And it's the tight end spot they may have to key on against New England, as Hunter Henry was targeted 11 times by May, no one else with 6. Henry, their leading receiver versus Pittsburgh, 90 yards, scored twice.
He made the grab, backpedaling, and he dives in for his second touchdown.
Not much from their wideout room. Keyshawn Boutte, 28 yards, Stephon Diggs, 23, Mac Hollins, 27, running back Ramondre Stevenson with 38, second most on the team last week, 18 rushing yards, but comes off a 2-fumble lost game. Antonio Gibson ran for 28 yards, May leading the ground attack with 45.
Drake May does a really nice job with his legs, something that makes him so dangerous.
Panthers rush defense gave up 5.5 a run to Bijan Robinson, 72 yards, gave up 6.6 a carry to Nathan Carter, so some holes to try and plug week over week.
Robinson again, up the middle.
Something has to give up front, being we have a Carolina pass rush that didn't come up with any sacks of Penix or Kirk Cousins on 43 opportunities, lined up against a New England offensive line, hoping for improved play after they let May get taken down 5 times.
May under a heavy rush, and he is sacked.
The other side of the coin features a Panthers offense still looking for ways to move the ball more consistently, rumbling with a Pats defense that has a nice 3-game run going, held Pittsburgh to 21 points even with that offense giving it up 5 times. They have yet to give up more than 21 in a game.
The Patriots defense has tightened the vice on the Steelers.
The Panthers offense they do battle with did account for 23 points of their 30 last week.
It's been a long while since Carolina has felt this comfortable in a game.
Even so, Carolina also went 3 for 11 on 3rd down, and Bryce Young isn't rolling in feeling great about his last game, as he only mustered 121 yards passing, 5 yards per attempt, sub-80 rating, no TD passes.
You could make the case Panthers could have another touchdown or 2 up there.
Patriots secondary he gets next has taken care of 2 of the 3 quarterbacks they've faced in 2025. They picked off Aaron Rodgers once, held him to 139 yards and just 6 yards per attempt.
Great job reading his eyes. And now Spillane's starting to make some plays around here.
They held every Steelers pass catcher to less than 40 yards. Only one Panther scraped together more than 17 in their win. T-Mac going for 48.
That tells you a lot right there. They're going to a rookie for a big 4th down. They know the skill set the kid has.
Young wasn't really pestered much, only 1 sack taken on 24 attempts. Pressure rate faced an acceptable 25%. His line getting in the cage with a Pats pass rush that left week 3 bagless on 23 attempts, but that front did hold the Steelers to 64 rush yards, just 2.5 a carry.
Warren runs into a wall.
Chuba Hubbard and Rico Dowdle next up. Dowdle scored 30 yards on 3 per run. Chuba, 17 attempts, 73 yards, 4.3 per.
Nice job by Chuba Hubbard. Even when he fell on top of the tackler and picked up another couple yards.
This is the rubber match between these two. Series tied at 4-4 all time. Look, we all remember the Super Bowl rematch, so why not go all the way back to game number 1 between them, 1995, also a thriller.
In New England, Sam Mills and the soaring Panther defense maintained its successful formula of turmoil and turnovers. Kerry Collins took a giant leap in his development by passing for 309 yards and 2 touchdowns. And to cap this well-rounded performance, the special team sealed another improbable but impressive victory.
No expansion team has ever won 3 games in a row. Snap, placement, kick, up, down the middle. It's good. The Panthers have won it in overtime, 20-17.
It's weird, right? Lamar versus Patrick isn't the Sunday Night Football game. Somehow someone knew that Micah would be playing against the team that just traded him. Somehow someone knew Baltimore and Kansas City would both be 1-2. Is there a script I don't know about?
And the Chiefs will get on the board and get their first win of the season.
For Andy Reid, a sigh of relief, right? I mean, they just needed a win.
This is a Ravens team that I still think is one of the best, and you dig yourself a little bit of a hole. The good news is there's still a lot of football left to be played.
Jackson versus Mahomes is still very much a heavyweight bout, one dominated by the guy in red, 5-1 record against the guy in purple, and they don't call it Lamar head. He's never won there.
It's a touchdown for the Ravens. It looks like his toe might be out of bounds. This is really close. Incomplete, and Kansas City wins this game by a toenail.
Also, before we dig in, the road to the playoffs when you start 1-3 is straight uphill, as only 13% of the teams since 1990 dug themselves out of that hole. So there's more on the line than just another 8 versus 15 matchup.
And that looks like the Kansas City Chiefs offense.
Mahomes comes in off a win at least. Nothing eye-popping from him or KC's offense, though. Only 22 points against a winless team that gave up 40 the week before. Kansas City hasn't breached the meager 23-point barrier yet.
And that's just a little bit of what you said. It just hasn't looked like the Chiefs in the first 2 games. Witness that play.
So they become the team Baltimore's defense can get right against. Or it could be the other way around, being Mahomes is looking at a D that gave up 38 points a week ago and has given up 38 plus twice in 3 games.
Goff has a wide open Jameson Williams and a spinning catch out of bounds near the 40.
He's staring at a secondary that let Jared Goff post a plus 100 rate, which they've given up to 2 quarterbacks so far.
For St. Brown, he is there, and he's got it. Touchdown, Detroit. What a throw and catch.
The 2 quarterbacks they've struggled with are of the elite variety, at least, and Ravens DBs didn't get torched by any means, only gave up 202 yards to Goff, only 1 touchdown, but their pass rush, which really missed Nnamdi Madubuike, didn't sack him once on 28 pass attempts.
Goff slings it. Laporta first down.
Mahomes sacked twice on 37 pass attempts. He's taken 2 sacks each week.
And tonight is just further proof that they are unsettled.
Mahomes faced a less than average pressure rate, though, just isn't finding anyone open or missing them more than we're used to seeing when he does. One guy he's connecting with more week by week, though, Tyquan Thornton, who has scored back-to-back games, 71 yards last week. His yards have grown game by game so far.
Putting it up for grabs again for Thornton. That time he reached around his body to catch it.
Ravens corners also have Juju and Hollywood to track. Smith-Schuster, 55 yards versus New York, has had 55 yards in 2 of their 3.
Smith-Schuster into the Giants' territory. A first down at the 33-yard line.
Baltimore's old mate Brown skates in off a 42-yard session.
Pulls it and fires. Good in rhythm throw to Hollywood Brown.
Ravens allowed Amon-Ra St. Brown to go for 77 yards and a score, held tight end Sam Laporta to 33, which is more than what Travis Kelce left the Big Apple with, 26 yards and a reminder of what his belly will look like after marriage. Andy knows.
We've seen them before kind of get heated there, but you can sense the frustration on both sides.
Casey's X-Factor rush attack actually got 4.5 a carry out of Isaiah Pacheco, and Kareem Hunt scored for them.
Second effort for the touchdown for Kareem Hunt.
Those two get a Ravens defense that just handled Jahmyr Gibbs to the tune of 3 yards per carry. That's an accomplishment, but they also gave up 224 yards along the ground, 4 rushing TDs. David Montgomery, 151 yards, got away for a 72-yarder.
He is out, being chased by Humphrey and brought down near the 15.
So they'd like to correct all sorts of things on that side of the ball, as well as one key issue on offense. Derrick Henry with a 3-game fumble streak.
And it's yet another fumble for Derrick Henry.
The King stumbles in with that streak and a game that saw him go for only 50 yards. Didn't keep Baltimore from dropping 30 points, though. That's been their low for this season, too. So Kansas City's defense will be pressed to hold them in check.
Forget first down. How about touchdown?
They're trying to make it 4 straight 30-plus point outings against a Chiefs defense that held the Giants to 9 to just 1 for 10 on third down. They've held down the fort to less than 21 points back-to-back games.
4th and 3. Chiefs bring some pressure and they knock it down from Wilson.
Sure, it's the Giants who've scored less than 10 points 2 of 3 weeks, but they were coming off a 4-point game. Russell Wilson showed up off a 450-yard explosion, and Kansas City held him to 160 yards, no touchdowns, picked him off twice.
Towards Wan'Dale Robinson, it's picked off. Running underneath for Kansas City, Chris Roland Wallace.
Now Lamar strolls in, and he strolls in with swagger after throwing 3 touchdowns, no picks, 288 yards, over 10 yards per attempt, a rate of 148, his lowest rate so far through 3 games, 128.
This is a shot for Walker.
Jackson did all that while trying to dance his way to more, too. That did come with a lot of sacks taken, though. 7 of them, in fact.
And is in trouble, ball's out. And it's Detroit's ball.
George Karlaftis and Chris Jones might be able to work with that. Each guy found their way to Russ last week.
Who got sacked there by George Karlaftis back at midfield.
Their DBs would have to cover their assignments long enough to give them a chance, though. Guys like D-Hop, their former mate, only 13 yards versus Detroit. Zay Flowers, only 13 yards in that game, too. Justice Hill cobbled 45 yards out of the backfield.
Big hit by Branch and a nice job by Hill. Survives that hit, and out of bounds he goes.
Rashad Bateman scored 63 yards, saw more targets than anyone else.
And touchdown Ravens, Bateman.
And the hottest Ravens pass catcher, Mark Andrews, 2 paint jobs along with 91 yards.
Andrews, diving catch, touchdown Ravens.
And then, of course, there's the ground game. Despite Henry's subpar performance, you'd expect him and Lamar's legs to get plenty of use, especially when you see Kansas City gave up 6 yards a pop to Cam Scattaboo.
Scattaboo to the goal line! In for the touchdown!
Ravens have dropped 6 of the last 7 games they've played Kansas City. Some gems mixed in there, but do any of them hold a candle to their 2012 clash? I think not.
31-yard field goal attempt to cut into the Baltimore lead. Sucka connects. Play clock is down to 1. Get the snap off. Tucker splits the uprights.
Well, I have to say, I did not expect a Ravens win. If you would have told me at the start of the day that the Ravens, for the first time in 43 games, would not have scored a touchdown. 3 field goals by Justin Tucker, the difference today, as the Ravens are going to take a 9-6 win back to Baltimore.
Throw on some John Wick to warm up for this one, maybe Kill Bill, The Gladiator, whatever your favorite revenge tale might be. Micah Parsons back in the Big D, Sunday Night Football taking on a Cowboys club that sure does seem to miss his presence.
Throws, Carr, touchdown, DJ Moore.
Okay, so this matchup lacks a little bit of the expected shine due to some unforeseen circumstances. Packers were so excited about this game, they forgot they still had a game to play week 3. An offense that was good for 27 points each of the first 2 weeks, only able to muster 10 versus the 0-2 Browns.
Pressure up the middle, and he's down! Garrett got there!
So the Cowboys defense gets Jordan Love off a turd Ferguson performance, though it wasn't as funny. Under 185 yards, a sub-90 rate, only 1 touchdown, got picked off once.
Throws intercepted! Picked off!
To be fair, he was shut down by a very tough Cleveland defense. He might find things easier going against the Dallas Cowboys. 31 points allowed back-to-back weeks.
Oh, Williams has a man wide open. He's got a touchdown, Odunze.
Once they play offenses better, we can add the D back. Until then, it's Alice ball, which was marked by their pass rush, giving Caleb Williams all day to decide who to throw to. Man, if they only had like a game-changing QB hunter.
Throwing deep down the middle, he's got a completion, and a big one too. It is Burden again, who had the long touchdown off the flea flicker.
Love, though, did get dropped in the backfield quite a bit, and it was a big part of their offensive short-circuiting. Lost 34 yards on 5 sacks on just 25 pass attempts.
Love steps away, and he's blasted!
Only a few Packer pass catchers did much versus Cleveland. Tight end Tucker Kraft just 29 yards, Romeo Doubs 25, Dontavian Wicks 21. Rookie Matthew Golden led the way with 52.
Love from the end zone down the sideline, wide open, it's Golden!
Boys secondary gave up 101 yards and a TD on a flea flicker to Luther Burden, 62 yards and a touchdown to Rome Odunze. Hey, Matt Eberflus said he'd eventually make Caleb look good. He might be a lot of things, but he's not a liar, I guess. Gave up 298 yards and 4 touchdowns to Williams in their Week 3 loss after giving up 450 yards to Russ the week before. Cowboys have allowed the second highest rate in the game after 3 weeks.
Man wide open, Odunze's got it. First down for Rome Odunze.
They allowed 40-plus yards to running back DeAndre Swift, too, but they handled Swift as a runner, held Chicago to 3 a carry, have held runners to 3.7 over their 3 games.
Here's DeAndre Swift taken down immediately, ready, stored.
Running back Josh Jacobs struggled to get it going on the ground, just 1.9 a carry versus Cleveland. Was good out of the backfield, going for 44 yards on 5 catches. Saw 9 targets, too, 5 more than anyone else.
Jacobs across the 30, breaking free. Jacobs with a first down and more into Cleveland territory.
So we have a Green Bay offense and a Dallas defense that both hit this week with honeydew lists. Packers defense, on the other hand, would welcome more of the same. 13 points allowed, and those weren't really even on them. They've held all 3 of their opponents under 19 in 2025.
And the swing to Bond. Trying to get around the edge. Really good play by Nate Hobbs.
Lined up next to a Cowboys offense that only scored 14 points. Keep in mind, they were up against a defense that gave up a 50-burger the week before, 3 for 11 on 3rd down, only made 1 trip to the red zone. They haven't put up 21 points in 2 of their 3 bouts.
Prescott, far side of the field, tipped and nearly intercepted Tyreek Stevenson.
And now they have to take on Green Bay's secondary without CeeDee Lamb. It wasn't pretty without him last week. He got hurt early. Dak Prescott, 2 INTs, a sub-80 rate for the 2nd time in 3 games.
Intercepted again by Tremaine Edmonds.
Dak sans CD taking on a DB group that dominated Grandpa Simpson, held Joe Flacco to 142 yards, no touchdowns, a 55 rate, sub-80 rate for the year thus far.
Going deep, looking for Judy, and it's intercepted. Xavier McKinney.
They only allowed 1 pass catcher more than 28 yards. Tight end David Njoku went for 40. Tight end Jake Ferguson got 14 looks from Dak versus Chicago, caught 13 of them for 82 yards, has put up 78-plus back-to-back games.
Again, it's Ferguson, who's just been a machine.
George Pickens has to play the WR1 role again, 68 yards in their recent loss, scored for the 2nd week in a row, 68 yards 2 weeks in a row.
Rolling, floating, Pickens one-hander, touchdown, Cowboys.
Kevontae Turpin chipped in 64 yards.
Throws one in stride, Turpin hangs on despite getting drilled.
How much time will Dak have to connect with those blokes? He got dropped twice by Chicago, but he did throw 40 times. Micah didn't bag Flacco last week. You know he's going to be on tilt to try and get to Prescott. His partner in crime, Rashawn Gary, had both of Green Bay's Week 3 bags. They hit Flacco 10 times, pressured him over 40% of the time.
With protection, it breaks down, and he's sacked. Rashawn Gary got there for the second time today.
Maybe Dallas limits Micah's chances by handing off more. Miles Sanders went for 41 yards on 4.6 a carry versus the Bears.
Good hole, first down for Miles Sanders.
And Javonte Williams with 76 yards on a nice 7.6 a try, 76 plus yards back-to-back games, 5.4 yards per carry or better in both.
2nd and 2 here. It's Williams right up the gut, and that's what he brings to the table. He is a north-south runner.
Could keep it rolling versus a Packer rush defense that gave up 5.2 yards per run to Cleveland's Quinshon Judkins, 94 yards.
Down the left sideline, Judkins out of bounds.
Judkins, the first runner to give them trouble in 2025. Green Bay has dominated Dallas lately. That 2023 playoff win, the 4th straight cheese victory over the Star. They've taken 10 of the last 11 meetings. They've hooked up 9 times in the postseason. Let's go with the most obscure one from the 1982 season.
The Cowboys dominated every phase of the first half and carved out a 20-7 lead that was sparked by a touchdown return by Dennis Thurman. Desperate times often produced magic moments, and the Cowboys pulled a rabbit out of their hat.
Quick screen out to the left to Drew Pearson. He wants to throw and does so, but Hill is being held up and catches the ball. Oh, mercy! How did he catch it? He was belted.
Victory over the Packers earned yet another try for the NFC Championship.
It's not technically a win-or-go-home game. It's not the Tank Bowl. It's a Monday night tilt between two teams with a serious case of the moon days. If Miami doesn't get on the board after starting 0-3, their playoff hopes enter a danger zone. Only one team has escaped in the last 35 years. The Jets in the same predicament.
From 36, this is for the win. McLaughlin's kick is right down the middle.
Someone is going to finally eat a W. Both teams have offenses that have struggled to put points on the board. Tua Tagovailoa's ability to play top-shelf football on a consistent basis under the microscope. Dolphins' offense only good for 21 points in their most recent loss, so under 22 in 2 of their 3 games thus far.
He's not as effective. He just doesn't have that X factor like Josh Allen and some of the others.
Now they get the Jets, who have given up 29-plus points each time out. Their actual defense does come in off a stronger performance, held Tampa to 22 points last week. Offense gave up a pick 6. They held the Bucs to 4 for 13 on 3rd down, 1 for 5 in the red zone, and their special teams almost gifted them a dramatic late game win.
Oh! It's blocked! Field goal attempt is blocked! Scooped up and will be taken all the way for a Jets touchdown, and we are tied at 26. Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Their own offense has worked against them back-to-back weeks. Maybe Justin Fields returns. If not, it's more Tyrod Taylor, who threw a couple of TDs to help bring them back in their Week 3 loss.
4th and goal. Taylor. He throws. Touchdown. Alan Lazard.
But under 200 yards, he got picked off, mustered just 5.5 yards per attempt, and the offense only produced 20 points, 3 for 11 on 3rd down, so they stumble in off back-to-back sub-21-point showings.
Making this Jets offense look like a high school team. It's just been bad all around.
Getting in the pool with a Miami defense in just as much need for a visit with Dr. Katz to talk through their issues, gave up 31 points to Buffalo. Jets offense in turn looking at a defense that's given up 31 plus points in all 3 2025 games.
Rolling, he can run if he has to. Instead he flips it for the touchdown.
All 3 levels of Miami's defense come in dazed and confused. Pass rush New York's O-line will battle with, did have 2 sacks last week, one by Bradley Chubb.
Allen's gonna go down. down at the 25-yard line. Bradley Chubb is there.
But a pressure rate of 9% tells you they didn't really bother Josh Allen much. Whoever goes for New York at QB seems like Miami should be able to greet them a few times in the backfield. Taylor took 4 sacks last week, so back-to-back 4-sack taken games for the Jets. Took a fat 10 QB hits versus Tampa, too.
Ball comes loose as Taylor was hit from behind.
Only one Jets receiver enters off a game with more than 32 yards. Garrett Wilson, who caught one of Taylor's TDs, walked out with 84 yards.
Taylor hit as he gets rid of it, and it's caught by Garrett Wilson.
Wilson saw 13 targets. Next on the team last week saw 6. Miami's secondary he faces gave up 3 touchdowns to Josh Allen and company. Not a ton of yards, but a rate allowed over 130.
Inside the 10, Shakir all the way in. Touchdown, Buffalo.
Dolphins front has to work on its skills heating up the kitchen and stopping ball carriers, as they gave up close to 6 yards per carry and over 155 rush yards to the Bills, gave up over 100 yards and over 5 a run to James Cook. 2 of the 3 backs they've faced have gone for 5+ a carry against them.
Here's Cook, breaks it into Dolphin territory.
They get Breece Hall in this one, comes in off a dud, 9 tries, just 21 yards, and he had a 17-yarder as part of that. Braylon Allen hit at 5 per run on his 6 attempts. Tyrod led the team in rushing with 48.
Taylor will pick up the first down with his legs inside the Bucs 10.
Miami's offense, similar to the Jets, have a QB who threw 2 TDs last week.
2 into the end zone, caught, touchdown, Tyreek Hill.
Tua only 143 yards, 4.3 an attempt. They ran for 5.2 a carry, so they would have been better off not throwing. Tagovailoa, another really bad pick, has a 3-game INT streak to start the year.
Tua throw, and it's intercepted. It's picked off at about the 20-yard line.
The Jets secondary he'll be looking at has faced Aaron Rodgers, who they made look 21 again. They held Josh Allen in check, then let Baker Mayfield throw for 233 yards on 8 yards per attempt, a rating allowed over 100, no picks.
Mayfield looking for Ibuka.
Oh, what a catch!
Their pass rush, with just 1 sack and only 2 QB hits on Baker's 29 pass attempts, stacked against a Miami O-line that prevented Tua from being dropped a single time on 34 pass attempts, and he only got hit once, so that was better compared to the first 2 games that saw him dropped 8 times combined.
Then he goes to Achane, and he goes down the sideline for a first down.
Dolphins' big uglies also helped the Fins' run game make a difference. Ollie Gordon looking to build on his 38 rush yard, 4.2 a run, 1-score game.
Again, Gordon plunging forward, he's in.
Devon Achane, 62 rush yards, 5.2 a carry. He's hit at 5.2 or better 2 of their 3 games.
Keep it on the ground. Big hole through the middle. First and goal, Devon Achane.
Achane also caught 7 passes, only managed 29 yards though. Malik Washington, 5 targets, just 12 yards. Jalen Waddle, 39 yards, though he did get to do his Penguin bit after scoring his 2nd TD in as many weeks.
Tua throws, and that's going to be caught for a touchdown by Jalen Waddle, his first catch of the night.
He didn't rob anyone, by the way. Tyreek Hill also scored versus Buffalo, 10 targets, 49 yards.
And that's caught at the 41-yard line, so Tyreek Hill.
Hill trying to take advantage of a Jets secondary that gave up 85 yards to wide receiver Emeka Ibuka and 80 to Sterling Shepard. And along the ground, Achane and Ollie face a front that held Bucky Irving to 2.6 a carry.
Irving forced back as Irving is brought down back at the 46.
They gave up 44 yards to Baker on 11 a run, but that's not usually a Tua thing. Jets took their last meeting with Miami, but the Fins have won 12 of the last 15 contests between the two. Maybe this week they could replicate their 1986 classic OT thriller. What? It could happen.
This exciting seesaw battle climaxed with not one, but 2 miracle finishes.
O'Brien back to throw. O'Brien being rushed. O'Brien throwing over the middle. Wesley Wilson, touchdown! Touchdown! There is no time remaining. O'Brien's back to throw. O'Brien throwing long down the sideline for Walker. And he got it! Touchdown! Touchdown! Wesley Walker with his 4th touchdown reception. The Jets are going berserk. They're bombing Wesley Walker in the end zone. And the Jets win it. 51-45.
Part 2 of the Week 4 Monday Night Football doubleheader. Two clubs looking for a Big Sean bounce back. Cincinnati Bengals on the road having to really hit it after a debacle versus the Vikings. In Denver taking on the Broncos, who came up just short in their Battle of the Ducks.
23-20. Zeros on the clock. It's over.
Denver now has to work their way back to 500. The path back seems lined up to run through their defense, taking on Jake Browning, whose first fill-in work of 2025 did not go well. 140 yards, a touchdown against 2 interceptions, a low 60s rate, 1 house call.
Picked off. And he's racing down the sideline, going the distance.
Bengals offense wanders into Week 4 off a 10-point game. They have ended with less than 18, 2 of 3 games.
You got to play more sound football than that, and the Cincinnati Bengals have been about as unsound as you possibly can be.
Can Browning go Stella and find his groove against Denver's defense? On one hand, they did just give up 300 yards to Justin Herbert, let him drive down the field on them twice in the fourth quarter late, which led to the late loss and to 23 points, 23-plus points allowed back-to-back games.
Caught! Touchdown! Touchdown!
At the same time, Browning isn't looking at a rattled secondary. Herbert threw 47 times, and they held him to 1 touchdown, under 6.5 yards per attempt, into a sub-80 rate.
It's the first pick of the season by the Denver defense.
And how about the trench battle? Bronx pass rush wrapped Herbert up 5 times, Jonathan Cooper with 1, DJ Jones, John Franklin Myers. Nick Bonito storms in off a 2-sack game.
Bonito! Like a torpedo!
Browning took 3 sacks. Bengals QBs took 4 total in the game last week.
Browning getting chased, no chance. Oh, what a sack.
Now, when you give up 300 yards, you're letting pass catchers eat. Broncos gave up 59 yards to running back Omarion Hampton, 46 allowed to Aronde Gadsden, 41 to McLovin, 89 yards to Quentin Johnston, 65 and a TD to Keenan Allen.
Allen, what a play!
They don't face any Cincinnati pass catchers with mojo after last week. Noah Fant, 5 targets, 26 yards. T. Higgins, only 2 targets, 15 yards. Mike Gesicki, 6 yards. Jamar Chase had 50 yards, has led them in receiving yards back-to-back weeks.
Good catch, snatched out of the air by Chase. Wow.
And then there's the Bengals' run game. May have bottomed out last week with Samaje Perine leading them with just 21 yards. Chase Brown, 10 attempts, 0.3 yards per carry. Bengals haven't run for 55 yards in a game yet.
And they do it again. Run on first down to no effect at all with Brown.
Broncos are tough here too. Held Omarion Hampton to 3.7 yards per carry. Did give up 70 yards and a touchdown to him, but they've held 2 of the 3 primary backs they've faced under 4 per run this year.
Devoured inside by Jones.
Denver's own run game wasn't at fault in their loss to LA. Bo Nix with another subpar outing. Hasn't looked great 2 of the 3 games. Offense only managed 20 points, haven't scored 21 in 2 of 3. They went 2 for 13 on 3rd down last week.
It's 4th and 10, and the punting unit for the Broncos takes the field.
Maybe a defense that gave up 34 of the 48 Minnesota posted last week is the cure. Bengals defense giving up 27-plus back-to-back games, let Minnesota go 4 for 5 in the red zone.
Cincinnati now has its biggest deficit at any point in Bengals history.
Bengals secondary made Carson Wentz seem relevant again. Not a ton of yards allowed, but gave up a rate near 130, 2 touchdowns, over 8.5 yards per attempt, no picks.
Carson Wentz drives him right down the field for an opening touchdown.
Now their DBs try and slow Nix after a dud in LA. 153 yards, a sub-90 rate, hasn't thrown for more than 7 yards per attempt in a game yet.
And the Chargers hold Denver out of the end zone.
Cincinnati's secondary gave up a TD and 49 yards to tight end TJ Hawkinson in their most recent loss, gave up 75 yards to Justin Jefferson. Denver's WR1 did show out versus the Chargers. Cortland Sutton caught 6 passes, 118 yards, and a score.
Look at him, they got Sutton! That's 6! Touchdown, Denver!
But Troy Franklin, 4 targets, 8 yards. Marvin Mims, 4 targets, 4 yards. Their running back, J.K. Dobbins, the other O guy who's working off a good day at work, 83 yards on 7.5 a run and a touchdown, 5.4 plus yards per carry back-to-back games, 76 plus rush yards back-to-back games.
Look at the hole by the corkscrewing Dobbins up the middle.
Nix added 33 rush yards as well, ran 8 times in a game that he took 2 sacks in.
And here comes Nix. Look out! Down he goes, hit on the plate.
Only 3 sacks taken over 3 games, so not usually a problem. Trey Hendrickson comes calling next. He wasn't in on any of the Bengals' Week 3 sacks, and they had 3, the most they've had in a game so far.
Wentz dropped for the 3rd time.
Gave up over 110 yards on 7.3 a try to Jordan Mason a week ago, 2 TDs allowed.
Mason in for a 2nd touchdown.
Cincinnati has beat Denver 3 of the last 4 times they've squared off. Last year, in OT, the most recent, first time they ever met, 1968. Do you know who took round 1?
The first to fall prey were the skitterish Denver Broncos. In their first home game of the season, the Bengals attacked the Broncos like so much fresh meat on the hoof. The defense, a blend of rookies and veterans, showed they had learned the first rule of survival: go for the kill. On offense, the Bengals displayed a mixture of naive exuberance and sophisticated determination. Their strong runners clawed for every yard and were capable of exploiting a key block and turning it into a score. And they could pounce through the air. The Bengals had tasted blood, and they liked it. Their first trophy was won 24-10, and the game ball was sent to the Hall of Fame.